No way. Lakers trade rumors are really starting to heat up as a brand new report has dropped surrounding one player in particular that not only has fans fired up, but will change everything for this Los Angeles Lakers offseason going forward as it pertains to Rob Pelinka's plans. We're going to break down exactly what this trade report is, discuss who it is, and what this means going forward, as well as some interesting comments from LeBron James, some other Lakers updates all around the board, folks. Before we get into it all, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. Your guys' support has been unbelievable, so thank you guys for your continued support as we are on the road now to the big goal of 30,000 subscribers. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys have been absolute beasts. Thank you for the support. Let's dive right into it. There's a lot to go over today. Now, obviously, there is some interesting stuff happening surrounding the NBA, surrounding Lakers land. We have some crazy Tom Thibodeau stuff, some Knicks hiring scandals going on. We're going to be focusing on a former Laker himself, and this is a point guard of the Chicago Bulls, Lonzo Ball, as some reports have dropped surrounding Lonzo that no one really saw coming here. And boy, oh boy, is it intriguing. So you can see this here, a brand new report from Jovan Buha dropped announcing that he thinks the Lakers would have interest in a potential Lonzo Ball reunion. I do. I think they would be. It's just a matter of what his price is, and you have to factor in his health and his history there. You can't even pencil him in for 60 games. So whatever you're giving up for him, there has to be some level of discount, or you're factoring in this dude might play 40 or 50 games. He's a guy you have to load manage. How can we load manage him to get to April in one piece? So this is Jovan Buha on YouTube. So very intriguing, because we're talking about, of course, Jovan Buha, very notable reporter, all that stuff. But for specifically Lonzo Ball, I mean, to hear this report that the Lakers would be interested, I don't hate it by any means. And I'm very curious, and this is going to open up a very interesting discussion, because we also have later on in this video a potential trade that's going to be like a trade framework for Lonzo. Lonzo is, we all know, former Laker, very, very solid point guard. And he's been dealing with injuries for the majority of his career, missed 2 straight seasons, finally came back last year, looked okay, looked a bit of like a shell of himself, but still looked very, very solid. If you're talking about a team that could use a guy like Lonzo, it would be the Lakers. They do not have a backup point guard right now besides Gabe Vincent. And by all accounts, Gabe Vincent's going to be included in one of the trades they make this offseason for a center just to match salaries. So you look at all of these things, and you're thinking, okay, maybe Lonzo Ball could be a very solid fit for this Lakers team, because he is still a very valuable player, one of the best defenders in the league when healthy. And it's a very interesting, thing here. There's also other teams who are going to be showing interest, but let's dive into this. Now, this is a tweet that dropped, a Lakers Bulls trade work for Lonzo Ball and Pat Williams. Not advocating for this, just opening up discussions. And this is very intriguing. So there's obviously, some interesting things here, but essentially it's, Pat Williams, Lonzo Ball, in, out Rui Hachimura, Maxi Kleber, no picks from the Lakers, and Chicago does this to get off Pat's deal and take a Rui flyer. Of course, this has Rui and Maxi Kleber going to the Bulls for Pat Williams and Lonzo Ball. No picks. Now, again, take this one with a grain of salt. This is just a proposed trade. There's no reporting behind this. It's pure speculation for this specific trade. Of course, this is a report surrounding Lonzo Ball. That is a report. But regarding this trade in particular, just a rumor, you're basically taking in salary to Pat Williams' contract, which is arguably one of the worst contracts in the NBA. Like, not the worst by any means, but he's not looked good at all on a 4-year, $72 million deal. But they get Lonzo Ball. So the Lakers are getting, in theory, a 3-and-D wing and Lonzo Ball. You're giving up Rui and Maxi Kleber. Now, you're saving your picks for a center. So if there is like a way, essentially with this trade, you're technically taking out 2 birds with 1 stone here. You get your backup point guard, you get your point of attack defender, kind of, and you don't give up any of your picks, but you also give up Rui, who's been a crucial asset. I truthfully don't know if I do this deal, and I'm almost more inclined to just make a separate trade and give up not a first-round pick or anything, but give up some sort of asset for Lonzo Ball, because I'd rather keep Rui Hachimura. Now, obviously, Rui Hachimura, his role next season, he started almost every game for the Lakers this past year. He was an extremely, extremely valuable piece to this core, an extremely valuable piece to this team, and I think it's something that at this juncture, I don't know that the Lakers want to trade Rui. There is some rumblings out there about trading Rui, but for Lonzo Ball, I love the idea. I really love the idea. I don't know if this is the framework that you rock, but I think that if you can manage to get 40 or 50 games out of him, he's a very, 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 very good backup point guard. And I also think that he could elevate, Luka Doncic and LeBron James. And it sounds crazy, obviously. Like, they're going to elevate Lonzo more than Lonzo's going to elevate them. But he's one of the best passers when healthy in the league. And that allows, he could open up spacing for the backup unit and just really be a true backup point guard, because he's past the point of his career, I think now, at least if he joins the Lakers team, reason to be starting a point guard. You have, Luka Doncic, you have Austin Reaves, you have Rui Hachimura, you have, LeBron James, and whoever your 5 is. Like, that's going to be the starting lineup going forward. but it's a very intriguing option. But there is going to be other teams interested as well. And you see here from an article, Mavericks could also show interest in Lonzo Ball. And Mark Stein said Ball could emerge as a reasonable trade target. League sources say Dallas is expected to explore if there's any trade for Lonzo. So it's not like there's not going to be competition for Lonzo Ball, and that might be one of the, because the Lakers have bigger needs than a backup point guard. They desperately need a point of attack defender, which Lonzo can be, so he can kind of be that defender that you get. But also, of course, the number one thing they need desperately is a starting center, and they don't have one right now. We have an update on Walker Kessler. We'll drop in a minute. Like, there's a bunch of different avenues for the Lakers to improve. I think Lonzo Ball is an interesting one, and I'm very curious to see what you guys think. So let me know down below. Do you want Lonzo Ball? What are your thoughts on this trade? And ultimately, do you think that it would be a decent idea for them to get Lonzo? Or do you think they should put full focus on getting a center? But I think two things can happen at the same time, right? They can be focused on getting a starting center while also being focused on upgrading their team in other avenues as well. And speaking about upgrading their team in other avenues, I want to throw this out there. We have an update surrounding Walker Kessler that has just, come out a couple days ago here. And of course, there's been a lot of smoke, a lot of fire surrounding Lonzo Ball surrounding Walker Kessler and the Los Angeles Lakers since, years now, really, but the past couple of years, this past trade deadline for sure. The Jazz wanted to hold on to him. Now that has changed and the Jazz have changed course, they're willing to trade Walker Kessler. Reports have really started to fly. They've started to escalate surrounding the Lakers because the Lakers make the most sense as a fit. But the issue is with Kessler, and this is a new trade report from Jovan Buha, and the Utah, is that their asking prices tend to be higher. It's going to be a high price. Going back to last season, LA had interest in Kessler. The starting price was 2 first-round picks. And of course, the Lakers, they're not going to give up 2 first. They don't have 2 of their own first-round picks available. They have a 2031 first-round pick that's tradable, maybe a swap they could use here and there. Dalton Knecht, if you count him as a first, maybe Knecht in the 2031 first would make some sense. There's some rumblings out there about an Austin Reaves, and first-round pick swap for Walker Kessler and then somebody else. I don't love that framework. I get it. Some people think that, and myself included, that Austin Reaves and Luka Doncic can't necessarily fit together. But I don't know if giving up on Reaves and you're getting your center of the future, but I don't know if Kessler is the guy and the centerpiece. I don't know if he's good enough to be the centerpiece of a deal that gives up, your young star player. So that's interesting. And of course, we know how, interesting the Jazz are in their own right surrounding trades. They always give up, always ask for a ton in these deals, a ton back, rightfully so, of course. But, Danny Ainge, he's not going to get fleeced again. Obviously, he was a part of the 3-team deal in the Luka Doncic trade. So it's going to be interesting, especially given the fact that, he's such a perfect fit for this Lakers team. But at the same time, you can be a perfect fit while also just not being super feasible. And I think Walker Kessler is feasible now, especially given the fact that the Jazz are willing to be, he's a beast, right? But the Jazz are willing to be open and negotiable for Walker Kessler. We'll see what the picks end up being. A couple other things. There are a couple comments from LeBron James on the bubble championship I just want to throw in here. And there's been a lot of talk about how it was like a Mickey Mouse championship and how it doesn't really matter. Steve Nash and LeBron thoroughly disagree. You can see here, if you couldn't sustain your focus and your mental health waver a little bit, the bubble was not for you. And they actually talked about how the bubble was one of the most pure forms of basketball, the purest form of basketball. If you think back to when they won the championship with AD his first year, all these different things, it was an exciting time. And I just wanted to leave a comment down below. Do you think the bubble championship, do you take any less stock in it? Do you think it was a Mickey Mouse championship, or do you think it was, it's just a time where the team actually came fully together and played basketball? But let me know down below what your thoughts are. A ton of new updates coming your way. We're going to keep you up to date with all the latest news. Thank you guys for watching. See you later.